Okay, so now in this chapter, we're going to talk about how to sit at the piano, okay? Now, it might seem kind of funny. You might think, oh, I just, sit down at the piano, right? There's really nothing to it. But ironically, it's actually much more complicated than that, all right? But it's easy to learn, right? So I'm going to show it to you right now. The first thing that we want to do is make sure that we are sitting at the right height. Okay, so height-wise, my elbow should be probably about parallel to the bottom of the key bed. So you notice that the keys have a top and a bottom. So right about here, and you can see that's where my elbow is, right? So basically, when I put my arms down at the piano, my shoulders should be relaxed. Now, how far do I sit? Okay, well, what I like to tell students is to make a fist, put it to the very end of the key bed, and put it into your side, okay? So it should be right to your side, shouldn't be here, and it shouldn't also be there, all right? So it should be right, kind of like jammed right into your side, okay? Now, don't worry, you're not going to play like that. But the reason that you should sit this far back is that then you have room to move, okay? So now you'll start to, as you get more comfortable, you'll start to figure out your sweet spot at the piano. But you don't want to sit this close. I've actually heard some teachers say, like, sit a fist length apart, and I've seen people sit like this, and it's really, really bad because, especially when you're gonna, move up here, move down there, you start moving your hands, and and it's just not good. Okay, so don't do that. Sit further back. Okay, this at first you're gonna feel like, oh my goodness, I'm so far back. But remember, you pivot here from your hips. Okay, so pivot from your hips, and then, hey. Just move at your hips. Notice what I'm not doing is I'm not moving my shoulders, all right? I'm not moving my shoulders in. Now, let's talk about the shoulders in the back. Don't play with your shoulders up like this. Sometimes you see pictures of jazz musicians, and they got their shoulders up like that. No. That's terrible. Don't ever play with your shoulders up like that. It's going to make a lot of stress. It's going to be hard for you to breathe. I can't even talk like this, all right? So play with your shoulders relaxed. Relax. Just say to yourself, shoulders down. Thinking about my shoulders just being relaxed, and I'm thinking about them spreading out, spreading out from my head, right? Just kind of like spreading outwards, nice and relaxed. I'm creating that space. My back, right? You're not going to sit up straight, okay? I don't like to tell students to sit up straight because then it's like, they do this thing and they kind of, pop their back forward, right? You don't want to slouch, of course. You want to sit up nice and tall. Right? So you want to think like a string coming from your head, just nice and tall. You're sitting tall. Again, creating that space in your back and in your body. Your head, again, that string. Thinking of kind of like coming right up from the back of your neck, just kind of like that, again, creating that space from your shoulders. Okay? So now you don't want to do this. Notice if I do this, I really can't talk because I'm cutting off the wind, my airflow. So that's not good. Cutting off airflow is not good, all right? So you want to sit up like this, and then notice what I'm doing with my eyes. I'm just kind of like glancing down, all right? Okay. So when I sit down and play, I'm glancing down. I'm not doing this. Not doing this, okay? I'm not doing this, I'm not slouching, okay? Now, will you see professional musicians do all of those bad things? Yep, you most certainly will, okay? In fact, Bill Evans, you may or may not know who Bill Evans is, but he's a famous jazz pianist. If you ask a jazz pianist who Bill Evans is, they'll know exactly who he was. He would sit, kind of like curl like this. And you'll find many other musicians that will play, improperly. But somehow it works for them, okay? Now, they might have to deal with pain and, and whatnot. You don't want to deal with that. So let's learn the right way. Make sure you're sitting at the right height. Don't sit too low. Don't sit too high. Okay, make sure you're at the right height. The other thing, if you're a younger pianist, right, or if you are the parent of a younger pianist, make sure that the feet have something to be planted on. Don't use phone books or something because they're going to slide around and it just won't work. You can find these boards, adjustable foot benches. Okay, you could look online for those, and they can adjust as your child grows. The main thing is that the legs should be like 90 degrees. Okay. Young kids don't have to worry about hitting the pedals right now, okay? You don't have to worry about playing the pedal right now if you're a younger student, all right? But you do want your feet to be planted. Why do the feet need to be planted? Because if you're an adult, what I want you to do is put your feet underneath you, right? And then see how difficult it is to sit up nice and tall, right? And then what you'll notice is that you start to create this tension in your lower back, right? We use our feet to plant us and ground us. Now, the other thing is if you put your hands underneath you here, right, and you sit down, you just kind of move around, you're going to feel these bones, right? We call these our sit bones. These sit bones, if you slouch versus sitting up nice and tall, you're going to feel these bones move, okay? And you're going to feel them. They kind of go, like when you slouch, they kind of go forward like this, and when you're sitting up nice and tall, they kind of go straight up and down. Well, doesn't that make sense now? That straight up and down is what's going to give us the best foundation here, straight up and down. So that's why we want to sit up nice and tall. Really, really important. Okay? All right, so that pretty much covers, we know how far back, we know how high, right? Like looking for the elbow, all right? We know that we want to create that space in our back and our shoulders, in our neck, stay nice and relaxed. We want to remember to breathe, okay? Now, you don't have to necessarily breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, okay? It's really dependent upon you. Basically, just remember to breathe, okay? And take nice, slower breaths. If you're doing that kind of stuff, that's not going to be good. Your heart's going to race and, you're going to create tension. The goal of playing the piano is to express ourselves, right? And just like in speaking, okay, do you think that you can express yourself best after you've ran a mile as fast as you can, or after you're just kind of like sitting down and just relaxing? Well, obviously, you can express yourself best when you're able to like catch your breath and, just be relaxed, all right? That's why a lot of times when people have to stand up in front of an audience, they start to get nervous, right? And it's very scary, okay? So this is a way to prepare for that type of stuff, okay? Like these are the techniques that you use: staying relaxed, breathing. These techniques work at the piano to stay relaxed, but these are also techniques that help you in life to stay relaxed in these types of situations in which, okay, you know what? Yeah, I need to go and I need to speak in front of people. I need to do this, right? Especially as a musician, when you are expressing yourself at the piano, right? Especially in front of an audience, we're learning how to be confident with ourselves. We're learning self-confidence. We're learning good posture, right? We're learning how to present ourselves. We're learning how to express ourselves. These are all important life skills that you can learn right here at the piano at any age, at 4, 5, 50, 100, right? So whatever age you are, you can learn these skills at the piano and then bring them out into the world and into your life, okay? So work on your posture and how to sit at the piano. Keep it in your mind, okay? Remember to get grounded when you sit down to play. Just don't sit down and like, okay, start playing, and you're like kind of off to the side or like, whatever, okay? Sit down. Usually the belly button is right here in front of middle C. We'll talk about middle C a little bit later. Actually, we already talked about middle C. So middle C, the C that's closest to the C on the piano, okay? So usually your belly button about there. Does that always have to be the way? No, okay? Remember, all of these rules, take them, with a grain of salt. And what I mean is, these rules are not meant to be absolutes, okay? Just like the sitting this far away, some teacher probably told this other person, sit that far away. And it might have been for that one particular lesson for one reason. And now they tell all their students, and then now you get all these students that are sitting like this, too close to the piano, all right? So we want to make sure that we're using common sense, we're using logic, and we say, okay, well, if I'm playing a lot down here, should I still be in front of middle C? Does that look right? Well, no, move down here. And guess what? I can slide on this bench, all right? So I will slide. I'll move back and forth if I'm playing it like... if I'm up here, I might move like this as well. move to the side, right? Notice I stay planted though. But if I'm going to be in this area or in this area for a while, then I'll just slide and move on the bench and play up there, okay? So anyway, that's how to sit at the piano, and that's, the way that you should be holding yourself and presenting yourself. Very, very important stuff, all right? So, and it will take you some time to really learn and feel comfortable with these techniques. So be patient with yourself on these. I'll see you in the next lesson.